Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. We got a great show coming this way. We have Don Meziere that's going to be joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about Sportsman racing out in Division 7 and also Meziere Enterprises. Talk about all the different products that they make available for you. And of course, they're very well known for their water pumps. But before we get into all of that, we'll have a couple of commercials and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Don, I want to thank you for joining us today and let us dive in a little bit to what's going on out west in Division 7 and talk about that beautiful Corvette that you race. And also dive into y'all's company and all the products that y'all sell. You know, a lot of people, they think of your name, they just automatically think electric water pumps, but your company's way more than just a company that makes water pumps.
Yeah, absolutely true. And a pleasure to be with you guys today. It was great to receive this invitation to be with you. And yeah, we're best known for water pumps, but we have actually over 100 pages in our catalog now of different products that we make for, chassis and fabrication stuff. We do flex plates, of course, mechanical and electric water pumps, and we do starters, and just always trying to think and watch, what does the market need and how can we do it better? So that's, the company actually started in 1980. I was 12 years old and, Dad,
you're a young entrepreneur.
Three boys out of trouble. So
you're a young entrepreneur.
He could see that we needed something better to do than just ride our bikes around town. So Dad was pretty wise that way.
Because you just led right into that, and thank you, Don, very much for coming on tonight on the Spot Motorsports Media. But tell me something. I know you said it started in 1980, but what brought it about? I mean, what caused y'all or initiators like going, hey, we need to make improvements on these things. Let's look into starting a company. So how did it happen?
Well, I'm the youngest of five. Okay, so there's three brothers, myself and Mike and Dave. My two sisters are not involved with the business, although we're all very close. And Dad always had us out in the garage creating and fixing and turning wrenches. I mean, I think it was my third grade teacher wondered why I knew all my fractions already. And it was because I was handling wrenches.
Wrenches. Yep, me too. Me too.
That kind of upbringing. And, it started out with a welder and a rickety old bandsaw. And we started making stuff. And I think I made my first skateboard when I was about 8 years old and, stepped on it and went right to the ground. And I, learned a little something about metallurgy,
Right.
But yeah, Dad always had us building stuff. And so I was always hanging around that. And the business actually started, we were just building trailers, fixing race cars, really fixing whatever came in the door, weld a bar stool up if somebody needs that, whatever it is. And then my brother Mike was starting to get into CNC machining and go to school for that. My older brother Dave got his mechanical engineering degree. And so he actually went to work in the automation industry for a while. And when I was old enough, Mike and I kind of took over the family business and started working hard at CNC machining, although just general machining. When Dave came back to work with us, that's when our product line really started to develop. We already had some tube ends and clevises, some basic chassis fabrication stuff that we were selling to a few customers, but that water pump development was really what kind of kicked things into high gear as far as name recognition, as far as the development of a catalog, and then getting really immersed in racing and trying to solve even more problems, you know.
Oh, okay. Because your product goes a long way as far as having a quality name. Whenever a name is mentioned, like I said, I always see it on water pumps and starters and stuff like that. But having looked through your catalog, I was surprised on just, and Mitchell and I both were talking about this, just how involved y'all are and how many different products that y'all offer. Everything from LS's, Chryslers, and transmission coolers, pans, and stuff like that. And like, so clearly that comes from your years of racing.
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, the racing goes back to like in the early 70s from what I remember. You know, I was like just barely old enough to jump in the truck and go with the guys, but Orange County Raceway, you know, just we were there twice a month probably.
Right.
And so that was where we were just always immersed in racing. As each of us were going through high school, Dad wouldn't do work for us, and he wouldn't buy parts for us, but he always made sure that we had a way forward. You know, it's like, you can get there. Here's how, you know, I'm not doing it for you, you know. He made that very clear, you know. So somebody says, oh, your dad bought you a race car. That wasn't even close to the truth. We were working till midnight every chance we got to do it. But, you know, we didn't really realize how much we were learning. And so when it came to really making a serious effort at a product line, the racing industry was just a natural. We had already been creating things for our own cars. And so when we decided that we could make a better mousetrap, which was the first water pump, we just all put our minds together, you know, and my brother Dave is the kind of guy he's never satisfied with good enough. He's got to make it just as good as it can be. So the first water pump went 700 hours before it died, and the next one went, 3,000. So, he just found some really good ways to improve on that product. And I think that kind of carved the first niche for us and made a way for us to get into the industry.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, y'all's water pumps is used by a lot of bracket racers, and it's very important to have electric water pump when you're bracket racing, because as you get closer to the end of the night, they want to hurry up and get you, through so everybody can go home, and that helps with cooling. Pumping that water through the radiator while it's sitting there, cooling it off while you got the fans on the motor blowing. And it's really helped a lot of racers out with their applications, because quite frankly, you look at the Chrysler products, they're very hard to get cooled down. I know from experience, they're very hard to get cooled down between rounds, and you have to come up with also inventive ways to get it to cool down, with that pump, you've helped out thousands of racers, especially those who have Chryslers, to get their cars ready for the next round of racing.
Yeah. One interesting story on that, I mentioned I was the third of three brothers that were attempting to go racing. But by the time I got my race car done, there was nobody around to help. So it was just a little small block rear engine dragster. But the thought of getting somebody to go racing with me and actually tow the car up to the staging lanes, which was the norm at the time, this is like 1986 or so, there was nobody around to help, and I had to figure that out. So I had one of the first dragsters with a cooling system on it. And
oh, really?
so yeah, people were not used to seeing a dragster drive to the staging lanes to go race. So, it's just kind of just by the way. It had nothing to do with the product line that we make today, but controlling heat, is a really crucial thing. And I know what you're saying about the Mopars. I got a buddy with a 500 cubic inch Mopar, and the block is filled. So you lose a lot of capacity to cool the engine when you don't have that extra fluid in there and stuff. So yeah, the Mopars can be challenging for sure.
Yeah, I know mine, for instance, I have to leave the tree sitting about 155, or if it's any warmer than that, I'm not going to run its number.
Oh,
but I mean, I do have a bottle in the back that can help me out if I need it. If I look like I'm going to be a little short at the top.
So do you, Don.
Hey, I'm a big fan of nitrous. I think everybody should run it.
Prep for it, though. Prep for it. Mine's not prep for it. But go.
It's one of those cars you cannot hot lap. You can, it's really hard to run two different classes with a Hemi car. Like I can't run Sportsman and jump over and run Pro. There's no way. I can't get it cooled down, and I don't want it to be sluggish, down the track. I want it to perform like I wanted to perform every single time, and that's where the cooling comes very important.
Yeah, early on in our development of the water pumps and stuff, the three of us brothers were partners in a car that we got from Chassis Engineering out of Florida. And it was a 96 Pontiac Firebird that we ran in super gas. But quite often we'd go up to LA County Raceway and run SoCal Pro Gas, run SoCal Super Street same day. And if the Southern California Econo Dragster Association was there, we would put it in that one too. We actually would run 3 classes in a day with that car and just lap it around, and it would do it. But we learned a lot about managing heat by trying to do that. That's kind of the situation that led to the transmission pan as well, because we knew we could cool the engine okay, but the trans would just kind of run away. So that kind of was the input. Okay, what's the problem and what's the creative solution for that? So yeah, the transmission pan is a heat exchanging pan, and that's we don't make transmission pans in general, but if somebody wants to take control of the transmission heat, we've got this pan that circulates fluid through the base of it. And what happens is you actually overcool the engine, maybe by 10, 15 degrees, and it'll pull the transmission temperature down with it.
Right. That makes sense. Now the transmission pan that you developed there, I take it, obviously, do you offer the external pump for it, or is it more of an internal pump? When I say internal, I mean in the chassis of the vehicle.
The way that works is you tap into the regular cooling system, the engine electric pump. You tap high and low pressure, and you just use that to exchange heat. So your main radiator is the heat exchanger, and the fluid running through the base of the pan. You just tap that into a high pressure spot right after the pump. If it's an engine mounted pump, it would be like on the leg before the fluid goes into the engine. And then the return line would be like teed into the lower hose or into the radiator on that low pressure area. And that drives just a little bit of fluid through the base of the pan, and it's very effective.
Okay, that makes sense. I followed what you said the first time, but then when you said it, as you lower the engine temperature, it lowers it about 10 degrees lower. And I'm like going, well, natural progression through the system of the engine. Yes, but the way you described it is much better, because I was used to seeing external coolers, like some Pro Mods and stuff like that. The PDRA stuff, some of it, they use external coolers. But most of those I'm assuming are methanol, methanol based and billet blocks and stuff like that with not much cooling capacity.
Well, it's another tool in the toolbox. Some guys will run the lines off of the transmission, like the normal in and out additional fluid running through a radiator type of arrangement. but that stops working as soon as you shut the engine off.
Right.
Okay, so the thing's just sitting there. With tying into your electric pump, you're cooling the engine anyways, right? You get back to the pit, you're leaving the pump on, and so this is a weapon to continue to cool the transmission while the car's just sitting there.
I like that. I like that design. That's a brilliant design. I just like that. That is so good.
We were really encouraged by, the prototype was done, I think, 2006. And we've gone through a couple of different designs, and now we just decided, carving billet blocks is what we're good at. There was a cast version, there was a welded version. What we sell now is just cut it out of a solid block of aluminum, and they look great. They're a bit on the expensive side, but the people that have them won't part with them.
Right.
That's what we find. They can see that they're highly effective.
And you're right about that. Every bit of your equipment that I've seen, that I've actually held in my hands, from the starters to the water pumps and all that stuff, is top notch. It is number one quality, number one precision, craftsmanship. I mean, they're really beautiful, and the quality of them has shown. There you go. There's a perfect example right there. I've talked to a lot of racers over the years that's had your products, and they've been super happy with them. And it doesn't matter what brand, whether it's GM, Ford, Chrysler, etc. So you're right. You're right. The hard work pays off. But I want to learn more on how you got started drag racing before we get up to your latest toy, which is not a toy, by the way. But how did you and your family get started racing? I mean, actual like drag racing. I know what you said about the first dragster, but
way before. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, we got to talk about my grandpa. Harold Meziere Sr. He was a mechanic and worked for Bell's Ford in Gardena, California. And if you'll remember, Bell's Ford is the name that was on the back of Parnelli Jones's circle track car. Okay, so my grandpa was setting up differentials for Parnelli Jones's team and some of the other NASCAR teams. So just a really smart, methodical guy, never really owned a performance vehicle himself, but he had two sons, my dad, Harold Meziere Jr. and Dan Meziere. And they got into a little street racing in Los Angeles. And then my dad got drafted and went off to Germany for a little while. And when he came back, he and my mom got married, and she made him promise that he was done drag racing. He was done driving. So not done racing, but done driving, because 5 kids, and that just didn't add up, right? So,
right. Oh yeah. Something's got to give.
Little side note. My dad's cousin is Don Prudhomme. So
really,
yeah, and Don, I think, is maybe 10 years younger than my dad. So while my dad was street racing, I guess he kind of was hanging out with his younger cousin, and maybe lit a fire there too.
It's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, we just had a 90th birthday for Dad. Right here in town, and Mr. Prudhomme came over and hung out with us for a while. And I guess there's some validity to that story. We always kind of wondered if that was really, if Don Prudhomme got the bug from riding around with Harold Meziere. More or less, give or take a line or two, I think is what you should say there. But yeah, they're both.
I would go with it. I like it. I would go with that story.
And boy, the history with Prudhomme is just unreal. Just unreal history with him and drag racing.
Yeah, incredibly passionate guy. I mean, he came over to lunch with us once, and I can remember one of my brothers asked him, "Is there any other type of racing that you maybe wish you would have tried or anything?" And to Mr. Prudhomme, it was like, what else is there but Top Fuel? That was the epitome of the sport, and that's where he wanted to be, and that's where he wanted to dominate, and he did it. So
he did it.
Yeah, hats off to him, no doubt.
Well, we know, I'm surprised that you're in a GM product, knowing that your grandfather, was building things for Pernelli Jones and the Fords and stuff like that. So I'm kind of surprised about that. But progressing from there to, like you said, y'all started out and you had your dragster, your small block dragster that you ran local. Okay.
Well, before that, I mean, I mentioned Orange County all through let me get rid of some junk here. Yeah. All through the 70s and 80s, Dad was taking us to Orange County Raceway. And they had a front motor dragster, 72 to about 78 or so. And that's about the time my brother Dave started racing. Let's see here. Yeah, 78. My brother Dave was a senior in high school and he won the Division 7 bracket finals.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny, so they're at Bakersfield Raceway over the weekend and he's got a final on Monday morning. And he didn't do too good on that final, but
I was going to say, ooh.
yeah, he had a good weekend anyway. So.
Yeah, he was going to go with it.
Yeah. So, the photographer was looking around for who drove the car, after the final round, and he couldn't quite believe, because Dave, we all kind of look a little bit young, and Dave looked about 14 years old. And so they were trying to figure out who was driving that roadster that just won. And okay, yeah, it really is that kid over there.
You see this hand come up, it's me.
Yeah, right. Yes, I can see over the steering wheel.
Yeah, there you go. But okay, wow. So that's going to lead me to another question later.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the racing all the way up through the 70s. In the 80s, Dave was he got a Corvette, 62 Corvette that he won, I think, 4 national events with. It was a really good super gas car. My brother Mike ran a super gas Monza, and I built my first dragster in the late 80s. We kind of all turned in our toys for a little while in the early 90s, but about 95, we got that Pontiac that I mentioned.
Right. And
we ran that through 2009 or so, as well as undercover dragster that we ran a lot in Super Cop and a lot of local bracket racing and stuff like that. So yeah, just always, involved in that DOT 90 racing or bracket races, all the way up till 2014, where I jumped into Top Sportsman, and man, I got the bug.
Well, I tell you did. Now, did you build that car, or did you buy that car from somebody else that was already running it? The Cavalier.
Yeah, Cobalt is a Chevy Cobalt.
The Cobalt.
No problem. That actually is a Jerry Bickle car, and a local guy had it. He put about 100 passes on it, did well with it. I mean, the car ran 650s when he had it. He had a big Sonny's engine in it. So it's a Bickle car, and we got a pretty good relationship with Jerry Bickle. We do some design for them and supply parts that are proprietary to their cars. So if I was going to do that, it had to be a Bickle car. So and it served me well. That was a great way to start. It was just the right car for the horsepower I wanted to make, and had a ton of fun with that thing.
Absolutely. Now,
you have what? You have six wins?
One national event in Super Comp in 2014, and then 6 in Top Sportsman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was the other one that I couldn't think of. Doing research, like I'm missing something here.
Yeah, 2014 Winter Nationals. Yeah.
Okay, because you've had a really good time at California tracks, and Vegas. I mean,
Vegas has been good to me. Yeah.
Yep, they've all been good to you, but it's a lot of hard work. Now, you ran the Cobalt for a lot of years, okay, and earned quite a few national events. Now, and recently you've stepped up to a late model Corvette, have you not?
Yeah. I think it was about almost 3 years ago. I talked to my engine builder about building something bigger, a little more excitement, and I kind of knew that the Cobalt wasn't going to be quite a long enough wheelbase for that. So when the engine started getting close, I asked some friends to look around for a longer wheelbase car. Man, this Corvette showed up. Some guys out of Louisiana had it, And man, it's just a stunner. I can take no credit for how it works. I just fell in love with the thing and had to make it happen.
Yeah, I like that. I could take no credit for it. But
I mean,
but
it's a beautiful car. It really is.
Hopefully we can make it run as good as it looks.
well, I mean, you've already qualified number one at least once this year, correct?
Yeah, Pomona, we went 6:30 at almost 2:20, and that was good enough. A lot of times that won't quite do it, but on the West Coast, things are a little light sometimes, and on that particular weekend, it was good enough. Yeah, by about 300s.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, the Vegas race we just went to, it went 6:40. That was good enough to be number one for about 30 seconds. The next pair down, the guy out of Canada went about 200 faster than me, and that was the end of that.
I was getting ready to say, 6:39 with a 9, something disgusting like that. But you mentioned before to Mitchell and I that I believe Steve Green builds your engines.
Monty Green. My apologies. Green Racing Engines out of Arizona. Yeah, he's, when I looked at doing a nitrous combination for the Cobalt, he's a friend of a friend, and I started hanging around him a little bit. Excuse me. While my Cobalt was getting built, I was busy trying to do all the finish work on it. I just started hanging around and really liked the way he approached. For one thing, building a nitrous engine. He's been doing it since the late 90s. And another thing is the customer support. Man, he's at all the same races I'm at. He does not hesitate to help out. There's I think the Winter Nationals in 22. I ended up winning that race, but Sheldon ring and pinion in the second round. And man, he and his son-in-law Dominic, they were crawling around under the car almost before we could get it up in the air to try to help get things going. And it's more than just a business relationship. He's a good friend, and he takes excellent care of me. So, yeah, Green Racing Engines, I'll put them on the scoop and never be sorry, because he's done me really good.
Absolutely.
So, for just our viewers, tell us a little bit about that motor. What is the cubic inch?
The one I'm currently running, or yes, the one from the Cobalt?
The one that you're currently running.
Currently, okay. Yeah, it is a 761 cubic inch engine, 5-inch bore space. Brodix helped me out with the blocking the heads for that, and 5 kits of nitrous available.
5 kits?
Yeah, 5 available. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
My goodness! I thought you only had 3 on it, but 5?
Well, we're running 3 right now. But Ben, Ben told me he could handle 6 of them with that big stuff system. So
where can you put it all?
Bring a boost to the party,
Where can you put it all? I mean, don't answer that. Don't answer that. I mean, geez. But
nitrous is funny that way. You do a little bit and then a little more. It's always
yeah. That's what they all say. That's how it all starts, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of racing. Just a little bit of racing. I can stop anytime.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I told my wife. That's what I told my wife when I bought the kit. I said, it's for show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really for go.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
Bottle a weekend, so he's all right. But right. You already mentioned something now. Now you run currently Big Stuff fuel injection system on this car, correct?
Yes. Yeah, the Gen 4 system, very powerful.
Okay, so you have the new modern Gen 4 system. Did you run it on the Cobalt also?
Yeah. When I first started with the Cobalt, it's 2015, I had a Gen 3 box. And then as the Gen 4 became available, I just, I want to have the latest and greatest, and it's just so much faster, that with the technology just took a monster step forward. So, and Ben has been great to work with. I mean, he'll jump online with me and show me how to do things, even if he showed me twice before,
Right.
and it takes that kind of support with a system that's that capable. You're dealing with people that don't do it every day, and he's so very patient. He's just, no, I'll show you, Donald. And if you can't help me right then, he'll tell me, okay, let's get together after 7 tonight or whatever. His wife probably curses me every once in a while because I call too much, but yeah, he never says, it never makes me feel like I'm bothering him. He'll just tell me if he's busy and we need to do it later. But man, he's been so good as far as customer support. So very grateful for Ben. Yeah, big stuff has been wonderful.
Yeah, I actually went to PRI this past December, and we've had Ben on our show, and I interviewed him again there on the floor talking about the products and stuff. And then he was, now they have a partnership with DC Inc. To help monitor what's going on in the engine, in the chambers. And that way, if it sees something that's not quite right, it tells this system, hey, we need to shut down and save this motor. Are you running any of the DC Inc. stuff with big stuff at this time?
I talked to them at length at the PRI show also. Fascinating stuff.
Oh, yes.
Really just amazing. And I can see where that would be a great tuning tool. Was my impression that it was more for dyno testing to try to optimize through the range, but you may be right. You may, I might have been just not had the same conversation that you had with him, but the technology is just, man, it's crazy how much you can learn by cylinder pressure, because that's power, right? I mean, that's bottom line.
Fascinating. It's fascinating. You make it more and more efficient. And we talked to another team that uses a similar system for testing. It's like you said, it's primarily on the dyno, but they also run big stuff, and they don't have it tied into the big stuff yet. But so they read the data and then make the changes, and it's responding very, very well to the data that they're collecting. And I'm always fascinated by that stuff, and I would love to see one, like you said, in a car real time. I can imagine how much literally quicker you'll go on a tune-up once you are able to process the data and incorporate it.
Right. Yeah. I kind of equate that to, knowledge is power, obviously. The guys that were doing nitrous in the early days have laid the groundwork for us not to burn parts up, right? Okay, right. So air gets dry, pull some timing, all these kind of little things you have to know. They learned them the hard way, and we get to benefit from that. So I think this is the next step, is what I'm saying. The cylinder pressure addition, that knowledge is really going to make power and save parts. So yeah, it's great.
I tell you, if y'all want, we can take a little quick break, and we'll give a little airtime to Big Stuff real quick. We'll run one of his commercials.
You bet.
So we'll be right back after this.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
And I tell you, man, I love seeing that car on that hub dyno and just lifting up and sitting back down. That is just awesome.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing when I see that. But Don, tell us something now. Do you have plans or goals beyond what you're racing at Top Sportsman, which is absolutely quick, like to move up to a pro mod or something like that?
At this point, I really feel like I'm just getting my feet wet with this car. It doesn't sound like a big step going from 670s to 630s, but I can tell you my brain thinks it's a pretty big step right now. It hasn't caught up to the whole succession of events as you know, from the starting line to the finish line yet. But right now, the goal with this car was to run 630s at 220. I mean, that was just kind of roughly the numbers we put out there, and it's there already. Now the goal is to do it reliably every pass and start to turn on some wind lights. I don't think my life would actually accommodate anything more complex than this car. Also, I have a lot of hats I wear. I'm a partner with my brothers, and I got to try to treat them right as far as, you know, putting in a full effort at work. I'm a married guy, so definitely some time at home. I have this race car that's kind of a new adventure, and I'm also a deacon for the Catholic Church. So that's another part to full-time job that I'm trying to hold down. So,
Agreed.
You know, I don't see anything beyond this happening in the near future. Yeah.
Well, it's like this, you know, if you're comfortable where you're at and you're having fun racing in that class, hey, stay with it and have fun. Don't make it difficult.
But something you just said, I often say that, you know, if you were at the top end of any at any racetrack, when Top Sportsman is coming around the corner, you know, and pulling onto the return road, you're going to see on every driver's face a smile as they get out of the car, because those cars are just so much fun to drive. I mean, they feel fast, and just fast door slammer racing is fun.
And you see, I can't imagine. And what you're saying is absolutely right. And even Mitchell and I, we run Sportsman and Pro, and it's exciting, like if we race each other and stuff like that, because, you know, the competition. But I can't imagine having a 630 on the window running against a 670, 680 car, and, you know, and it clicks in high gear, and then you're set and you're focused on that driver, you know, not even realizing you're eclipsing 200 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I'm like,
pretty wild. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So it's like, I know you don't hit the brake. I know you don't do that. I'm assuming you just roll out the gas and maybe drop the chute or something like that if you have time, is my assumption. And you know,
it's kind of fun to race a car that's similar to you in mile per hour.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're like you said, eclipsing 200 miles an hour, and you're busy looking over for a spot on the windshield or on the scoop over there.
Yep, just see where you're at. You're just like driving down the interstate.
It doesn't know drag racing. It's like you're not even looking forward. What's wrong with you people, you know?
Yeah, it's like driving down the interstate, literally.
Yeah.
You're just looking over at each other, and then you lock eyes, and you realize, we're going really fast.
Yes.
You know? It's like,
yeah. It's fun.
Fast game of chicken is basically what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
The cars, once the car gets a little bit of wind over it, it really settles down nicely. They don't, you know, you don't want to work the steering wheel or anything like that, but the cars race well at 200. They really do.
So it's stable at Vegas with the crazy wind?
It was. Yeah. The car's got a big wing on the back of it, and I think the spill plates being twisted in with a little bit of the Corvette body style. It probably helps a bit.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything funny going on in Vegas at all.
So I got a question for you.
Sure.
So, you know, y'all's last race was April the 18th and 19th there in Las Vegas, and then y'all have a humongous gap in y'all's schedule. Y'all don't race again until the 25th and 26th. What do you do in between there to try to keep yourself sharp, as you know, to be able to focus on the tree with that much of a gap in the season?
I think it's different for everybody. I was just talking to a friend of mine, Lance. Oh gosh, what's his? Raced him for the championship in 22. Lance. Oh gosh, you're gonna have to look that up for me.
In Top Sportsman?
Top Sportsman World Champ in 2022. Yeah. But I was just he came by the trailer and we were talking a little bit, And he said he doesn't even practice. He doesn't even hit the practice tree because he thinks, that it does more damage than good for him. For me personally, I got to hit the tree 2 weeks ahead of time. And I'll set it up, and not just hit it time after time, but set up like a little game. Like, okay, if
Lance Abbott.
What's that?
Lance Abbott.
Yeah, Abbott, of course. Sorry,
That's
Lance.
Found it too.
Yeah, Lance Abbott. Yeah, great guy, great racer. So I gotta hit the tree 2 weeks ahead of time and challenge myself. Sometimes I'll just do it, on the couch, but better to do it strapped into the race car, going through the whole procedure, so that it feels like, well, Luke Bogacki says, it's got to feel like you're turning on the video, the VCR and watching the tape. Just roll the tape. So try to make the car feel like the office. Just make it feel like home, and this is as normal as can be. So for me, I have to put that time in for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you speak a very good point, because like Luke Bogacki, he would have videos. He puts out videos and helps mentor people. And he says, if you're just sitting at the house one day and it's a real hot day, put on your fire suit, go sit out there in that car, just like you're in the staging lanes, and something happens, but you don't have enough of time to get out of the car and pull all your stuff off. You need to sit in there. You need to condition yourself and keep yourself mentally prepared when you do go up there to the tree. And that's true. You have to treat those situations, and you have to prepare for everything. Yeah,
you almost can't overstate how important it is to play the mental game correctly. We talk a lot about prepping the cars and stuff, but if you're not prepared as a driver for what's about to come your way, all of that's a waste of time.
Right. And stick to your game plan. Yeah. Whatever your game plan is, stick to your game plan. And,
where were you 4 weeks ago when I needed you?
All you had to do is call. That's all you had to do was call. Yeah. Now, hey, if you chuck a rear end, okay, that's thrown your way. You deal with it like you did. Okay. Yeah. But clearly you have a game plan and you stick to it, more times.
Yeah. It's when you start thinking about adjusting your plan for the driver in the other lane, for me, that doesn't work out well.
Same here. It just doesn't.
Put forward a full court press and let them deal with it.
I got Corky on here, and he wants to know who is your, your favorite Pro Mod hero.
Pro Mod hero. Okay, so
because we're talking door cars.
I know. Yeah, we get to go to some of those PDRA races, and man, there's a lot of good racers there. Tommy Franklin, Chris Rennie. Chris Rennie's really remarkable guy, just super, super smart. Of course, Ricky Smith. I mean, that guy's kind of a legend as well.
Kind of. Well, you're picking a nitrous guy too, so
Yeah. Right.
Like,
right.
Oh yeah. You gotta support the team, and I don't blame you on that. Everybody you just listed is amazing, and you need to come over to the East Coast and go to a PDR event if you haven't recently. I know you said a PDR, but I mean, come on over to Galat. Come on over here to a couple of these other events, which would just be big. And since Redline is involved with them in the PDRA, you'll really enjoy it. But you mentioned something earlier, and it made me think. Did you say that your brother won the bracket championship in '78? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward several years, not too many years ago, but several more years. And another relative, Zach Meziere, won the 2023, I think it was.
24. He's reigning camp. He's reigning camp right now.
Finals.
Yeah.
Now,
they changed the format. They changed the format, which is really cool, right? They do that the division championship that he won in Boise, and I call him a kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's married and he's got a child on the way, but that kid is remarkable. I would tell you what, he not only won the Division 6 title at Boise, but that same weekend he won the Race of Champions. He goes to Vegas and cleaned up the national championship there, and that just happened to be the day that we were showing up to work the SEMA show. So by the grace of God, I got to be there to watch the final round. Just the way it all worked out, we were bringing the Corvette and going to run that on Wednesday, but had to work the SEMA show first, and just the way the timing all worked out, it was so great to be there when he won the national championship. Yeah, just a couple months ago.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I didn't realize the timing of that. I was assuming the whole family was out there at the same time. That whole thing. But yeah, being at the SEMA shows there. Now he's your brother's son. Is that?
That's right. Yeah, he's my nephew. That's right. Dave is my oldest brother, and that's his oldest son.
Okay. Because when I was first talking to you, and you were naming off your father and your brother and nephews and stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to need a diagram of this.
I'll draw you a diagram. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like now the dragster that he runs, does he still have it?
Yeah, and there's a cool piece of trivia about that one. My dad actually did start racing when he was 65 years old. So I told you the story about the deal he made with Mom, right?
Right.
But when he was 65 years old, he said, "Hey, look, all the kids are grown. I can still do this, But she said, "Yeah, go ahead." So Dad puts together an old car that was in the rafters, and he ran that for a few years. And I'll be darned if he didn't win a car. If you recall, Danny Sons was promoting some races out on our side of the nation here. DragRaceResults.com was Danny Sons' creation, and he was running races. Okay, so they were giving away a dragster, and the old man goes 003 and dead zero in the run for the money or run for the dragster deal. And that was good enough. So he wins this car, puts it together, ran it for a few years and sold it. That car came up for sale and Zach bought it.
Really?
So that is the car that Dad won years before. It's just a cool piece of trivia,
I just wondered if he knew that when he went to go buy it, and if he knew he did know the history.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a guy here in San Diego that bought it and then repainted it, ran it a few times, and then just didn't have time for it. Yeah, so sold it to Zach. Yeah,
so you're never selling it anymore, right? It goes to
No, I think that one will get gold plated and put on the wall or something. I don't know.
Overgrown junior for all the kids.
Yeah, right. We'll turn it into a bad car when it's obsolete.
What you got, Mitchell?
Yeah, I remember that drag race results series, and I actually raced in it. They had one race out here at Gainesville, and they done another one at South Georgia Motorsports Park, and I actually won the one in Gainesville, and the competitor that I was running against was Jeff Berrier, a good friend of mine.
Really?
And
he ran Jeff, huh?
Yeah, he couldn't get his car to start.
Oh.
And so I dragged my feet as much as I could. I even pulled through the water box, and I sat there for like a minute before I done my burnout. And they're just a thrashing over there trying to get his car to start. And so eventually they told me I had to go in. And so I got that win, but probably a month later, he paid me back at South Georgia. He made it to that final and he won. And I said, "Hey, we're even."
Yeah.
The bad thing was, as soon as the tree dropped and I took off, his car fired.
Oh, it's always that way. The first time I ran Jeff was in the finals at one of a national dragster race. They used to have those national dragster races, and he laid a 001 on me. You know what I mean? I didn't have a 001, but he laid a 001. I got him the next time, but it didn't matter. He still won everything. So I'm like going, "All right, Jeff, you whipped me good." So we could both relate to that.
No customer, yeah.
Now I tell you, are you still? I'm sorry, Mitchell. You going to say something?
Yeah, I got a question from a from a follower, homegrown son. He wanted to know, do you have any kids or grandkids that may be making their way up in racing? Possible, start out junior dragsters.
Yeah. Nobody right now in junior dragsters, although Zach, we were just talking about him being national champion. He's a junior guy. He started racing juniors, I think, at about 10 years old or so. And his brother Chandler, also an excellent driver. So nobody's right in that age group right now. I've got nieces and nephews getting married and just starting families and stuff. So it's possible in the future, but right now nobody in the junior program.
Okay.
But
So it's very possible. Juniors, when Zach and Chandler went to, or when my brother Dave kind of got him started in that junior program, he just quit doing the big cars because there's so much stinking work to keep running. They rattle themselves apart. They need an engine rebuild every 3 weeks, it seems like.
Well, it depends also if he's got one or multi. We got buddies that got multi juniors, and then they run their own cars, and we're just watching them run circles. You know what I mean? It's like unbelievable. But the whole family's there and they're having fun. So we we encourage it. Obviously, we encourage it. The whole family atmosphere with it. But tell me, are y'all is Meziere involved in any other racing associations or racing programs, whether it be in a bracket program or .90s?
Yeah, my brother actually runs. He works with us. I mean, he's here in San Diego, in North San Diego, in Escondido, California. But he keeps his racing operation in Dallas. Yeah. Well, the reason is we've lost all our drag strips here except for Verona. We've got the 8 mile track just up the hill. The next closest track to us is 5 hours away in Bakersfield.
Oh, geez.
We actually had a young lady on not too long ago, Michelle Henry, and and her dad Michael, and they were pretty much telling us the same exact thing, that it's really hard with the tracks closing to even be able to race.
Yeah, absolutely true. I was looking at the schedule. There's no way I can punch out this year. I just can't get there. It would take I could choose going east or going north, but it would take a 26 to 29 hour tow to get enough races, one way.
I got a way to take care of that. Just saying. Move your whole family to Dallas or Texas, or move your whole family to North Carolina or even Florida. We got races down here. We got space.
I hear you.
Options.
And I sympathize because I sometimes have the same priorities that you have, which is drag racing. But you come on out to San Diego and spend one weekend on the beach over here, and you're going to know why we stay.
Oh, no. I'm not denying that it's not beautiful. I am not denying whatsoever. But I'm just saying that straight line opportunity. Just sharing. That's all.
I get it. Believe me. I'm looking.
Don, you're absolutely correct. I went out there years ago. I worked for a guy that owned a rally performance driving school here in Florida, and I had to go out there to pick up a race car close to LA. And so on my way out, I drove, I-10 to I-8, and I drove into the Emerald Valley and came out there in San Diego, and it's beautiful, just a beautiful area.
Yeah, we really like it here. It's home. It's home for us.
Absolutely.
California is not the easiest business climate, but we've been blessed to have enough work, and people embrace our product, and we're able to keep doing it, and that's what we're going to do.
Agreed.
How many employees do y'all employ there at Meziere Enterprises?
Yeah, we're right about 40 employees. We have about 23 CNC machines. And we do not only the stuff in our own catalog, but we do some job shop work as well. And we have some really neat alliances with creative companies where we get to help them develop product as well. So I guess our comfort zone is taking people's ideas, whether it's our ideas or somebody else's, and getting them documented and getting them manufacturable, and we very much enjoy it. The creativity is really fun, and we talk all the time. We still enjoy it.
Well, I took a picture of one of your videos, which was pretty remarkable, how y'all's machines and stuff work. Really need someone to, is watching this, go check out some of the videos that y'all have. So what are we looking here at right here?
We started integrating cobot technology with our CNC machines. And so what you see is a bunch of threaded tube ends like you would use for a 4-link suspension or something like that. And they need the hex put on them. These are the left-handed versions, and that's they get a hex feature, so you can put a wrench on the bar and adjust it. So we have an array of parts there, and the cobot can just excuse me. The cobot can just grab them and put them in the machine, and it can run fairly unattended.
Gotcha. That may I like that stuff. Mitchell and I both like it. We enjoy it. We work with Scorpion and a couple other companies, so they have tons of CNC machines and tons of products being designed and built and being produced, and it's really cool, and we really enjoy it. But tell us, how can people now? Your product is sold what?
Won us a match race.
Okay.
That's all I ask.
His car's way quicker than mine. I can promise you that by a lot.
Yeah.
It won't be much of a match.
I don't think you can put enough numbers in that delay box. I just don't see that happening.
I've got nitrous, but I don't have 5 kits or 6 kits to kick on.
You could put 5 kits on Mitchell, but the kitty litter and broom is going to be in the back seat because it will not accept it.
Exactly
it will
right.
be ugly. It will be ugly.
The snowplow following you.
There you go. It's just one of those you get out of the car. I got this. It's okay. Y'all go get some meat. I got this.
Right.
But tell us something. I believe your product is being sold through all the big chain speed shops, correct?
That's absolutely true. Yeah. Any of the distributors you can think of that you like to call up and get parts from, they'll have it. And if you got some kind of unique thing that you need, we do custom flex plates all the time, custom starters. And that's I think that's one of the things that makes our company kind of strong, is we are always listening to the customer and trying to help them solve problems.
That's a good thing. So you hear, well, I can't say you heard it here first, but everybody that hears this podcast, you need to remember that if you have a certain unique project that you're working on and you need a flex plate or a starter location or anything like that, whether it's reversing size or something like that, you need to reach out to Meziere and work with them, because I believe they could help solve your problems through their design capability, manufacturing capability, and racer mentality. They can make it happen. But I take it that obviously if they have any questions, they could reach you, or not you directly, but they could reach out online through Meziere.com.
Sure. Yeah. The email is real simple. It's just Meziere@Meziere.com. And honestly, I'm on the phones a lot of times, myself and my brothers. If our frontline tech guy is stepped away from his desk, you just might get one of the Mezieres when you call in, because we're quite often we're interfacing with customers. It's not like we keep ourselves insulated at all. That's where we learn the most, honestly.
That's good. Well, Mitchell.
Yeah, I just want to let you know we really appreciate you coming on. And if you ever have any new products that y'all have there at Meziere, please reach out to us. We'll help support y'all and let people know what products. We'll post it on the page. I really like what y'all do and all the products that y'all have been innovating over the years, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the Division 7 season turns out for you as well.
Appreciate that very much. Yeah, we're going to keep applying our creativity to the racing market wherever it leads. The The most recent products have been, some expansion of our remote water pump line. We have a oil priming kit, that we debuted at the PRI show and the SEMA show this year. So it's kind of an engine-mounted little oil pump that you can hit a button and make sure you got oil pressure every time you start the engine. And we're always just thinking about, what's the problem and how can we solve it? And so, whether it's cooling systems, a better starter, a stronger flex plate, a better accelerating flex plate, priming the engine oil, cooling the transmission fluid. These are things that have captured our attention so far, and we can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I tell you what me and Robert can do. We're going to go to the PRI show this year. I know it seems like it's a long ways away, but it'll be here before we know it. And we like to stop by the booth and interview you there on the floor and have you showcase those new items that y'all come out with.
More than welcome. Always love to talk to you guys.
We appreciate it, and we definitely will. And Don, from On the Spot Motorsports Media to you, we want to tell you thank you very much for coming on tonight. We know you're a busy man. I'm sure they're probably tapping on the window on the other side going, you got another meeting. You you just pencil. People don't know. He just penciled us in between meetings, but he was nice enough to do it.
Just set my cell phone aside. It was buzzing at me. That's all right. No, seriously, guys. So thank you for making time for me too. It has been a lot of fun talking to you, and I hope to do it again sometime.
No problem. Thank you again.
We look forward to it, Don. Wish you and your family nothing but the best.
And likewise.
All right. Take care, Don. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. See you.
Have a good night.
Well, I'll tell you what a great company Meziere is, especially very well known for those water pumps. You walk around the pits of any bracket race or you're going to see them on the cars. And everyone says the same thing, great quality. We had Corky chiming in as well, that they sell, top-notch stuff.
They do. Corky's absolutely right. Meziere is quality, and I mean, very, very high quality stuff. And you don't see many people just selling them to sell them. And what I'm saying is used. If you see somebody selling them, it's like they got multi, you know what I mean? Or they bought a car that comes with 2 spares. They don't need 2 spares, that kind of thing. But typically I do not see people just get rid of them just because of lack of quality.
Yeah, so, I've never seen anything used for sale.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And he mentioned some stuff. He goes, the flex plates they make are absolutely beautiful, but they make low inertia flex plates. You got to see them. I mean, they're really light, small diameter. Some of them, I mean, they're really trick. So like I said, they make a lot of products, and I like that transmission cooling. I misunderstood when I saw it originally. I thought it had an external cooler. Okay, I did not realize that it was actually tapped into the water system of the engine. That makes it, there you go. That makes it brilliant by itself, just the concept to use the engine coolant to cool the transmission. So helps streamline it. So yeah. I really like that. I love that idea. I love that concept.
Yeah, I mean, just look how nice and clean that the product is. It's just very well made.
Very, very well made. So and like I mentioned to everybody, he literally he would be a great boy. Yes. I agree. Everybody that I've spoken to that knows the Meziere family said that exact same thing. He and his family, top notch, great people to work with, great racers, and so we're very happy and proud that he was able to squeeze some time in and talk to us. Because like I told Mitchell, he has a lot going on at work, a lot of meetings at work, and he was able to pencil us in just to talk about Sportsman racing and the product. So it's greatly appreciated. It really, really is. And the whole time difference on the West Coast makes it more of a challenge too. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
What you gonna do?
Well, I just want to let everybody know, about this time tomorrow. I'll be up there in Charlotte for the 4 Wide Nationals. I'll be there Friday and Saturday, and maybe a little bit on Sunday. Going to try to do a couple of interviews with some of the drivers. One of those drivers I like to talk to is Erica Enders. See if she's got some time to pencil me in somewhere in between qualifying runs. Sit down with her and talk about the season where Elite Motorsports is and the things they are doing behind the scenes, without letting any secrets out of how they are trying to catch back up and compete with KB Titan Racing. Right now, KB Titan Racing has been doing a really good job in pro stock. So that's one of the ones that I want to interview. And of course, Gianna, man, she announced yesterday, I believe it was, that Johnson Horsepower Garage has came on board to sponsor her motorcycle. That's with Matt Smith Racing. At the same time, unfortunately, her sister will not be able to race at the Four Wides. They're going to have to take a little bit of a back seat for a couple of weeks. There's actually an article on the page describing what's going on. They're having some issues of finding marketing partners for the season, and hopefully all that works out. They'll find someone. She's a very talented driver and Top Fuel, and actually she is sitting 5th in points. So hopefully, it's setting out a couple races. She won't drop that far down and hopefully stay in that top 10 when they come back and be able to perform the rest of the season and compete for a championship there in the countdown to the championship.
Yeah, hearing about her and her father, the
and
whole
Mike
team.
Salinas.
Or parking the cars for a couple races due to, like you said, marketing reasons. And that's reflected in a lot of different sports, a lot of different motorsports and stuff, but especially Top Fuel, Funny Car, and even Pro Stock, just because of the sheer expense to operate one of those cars. And quite honestly, I mean, I know they're kings of the sport, both the Top Fuel and Funny Car and stuff, but I really, in my mind, I think it'd be behoove everybody to take a step back as an organization and see if they can't step in and do ways or think of ways to help lowering costs to operate these cars. And I'm not saying, take nitro away. I'm not saying anything like that, but there might be some, you might, and it's kind of extreme, but, drop to one single mag, drop to a smaller fuel pump, drop the nitro percentage. And I know that would slow them up, but you could come up with a balance, I'm sure.
Well, Robert, if you just think about it, they're making 4 qualifying runs. Maybe you just do away with one of those qualifying runs. Maybe you just run 1 on Friday and run 2 on Saturday. Just the sheer expense of making 1 pass down the track is unreal, especially if you have something go wrong and you push out a rod out the side of the block. Maybe that would even help a little bit on the expense. Nitro is not cheap.
No, it's not. It's not. But on the flip side of that, nobody is making you make 4 passes.
That's true.
You're not contractually obligated to make 4 passes.
You'll see some teams do that. You'll see some teams step back.
Agreed. Yeah. If you make a solid first hit, if you're in the top 5 and there is literally no way that somebody's going to bump you out of 16, economic wise, you might want to make 1 more pass and then pack it up, for maintenance,
He wants to know if that's
actually it's a 70. That's my car. That's a 70. That's what's out in my garage. But you're right. It's got 72 parking lights in it. Those parking lights, Mitchell, just so you know, clear ones are on 70 only. 71 and 2 got ambers. So I do have 71 or 2 parking lights. Thank you, Homegrown. Appreciate it. It's that one's been in the family almost 30 years, right at 30 years. And I drove out to school, drove out to college, drove it to church, drove it to work. It's been it's been everywhere from Middle Georgia to South Florida, driving it. Okay. Started out, I know you didn't ask all this, Mitchell. When
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
it's
it, okay, when I got it, we used to have emissions here in Jacksonville, and I had a little 4-cylinder Monza that I built that my dad had behind his garage. We were going to build a super stocker out of it, and that didn't happen. So anyway, I become of age. Dad wasn't going to buy me a new car. I didn't have enough money to buy a new car, and that was yeah,
that's
yeah,
what threw him off. Yep.
yep. Anyway, my dad said, "You do the work. I'll pay to make it safe on the road." So that's what I did. 4-cylinder, rebuilt it. Me and my dad and automatic, we did everything except the Mako paint job. So anyway, drove that for several years, and that was my run around and go to school and all that stuff. Well, somebody literally on the way to visit my grandmother, somebody decided to run the intersection and occupy the same space as my car. So after T-boning me, destroyed the car. Of course, insurance company didn't want to pay you much. You know how that goes. But I started looking in the trader magazines for something pre-emissions. And I always loved old cars. It's what I'm raised as. So anyway, I went off to camp, and I happened to find this car at a small car lot in front of Madame Ruby Palm Reader here, not too far from my house. And I'm not kidding, Mitchell. I could take you to it. The place is still there. Okay. How the palm reader and the car lot work together, your guess.
Did you get your palm read?
Nope. I stopped off at the front door, not the back door. And so I went to camp, and I told my dad about it. And it was actually something I could afford. Okay. So he went and looked at it, and anyway, when I got back from camp, that car was in the backyard, and butternut yellow, both fenders dented, hood, fenders, trunk lid rusted, and had a little bit of rust around the windows, but the rockers were solid and the floor pan was solid. 307 Power Glide, bench seat, had no back seat, had no carpet. Somebody took a hot iron and torched out the seat belts, and the car sat low. It was dead on the ground. They took a torch and torched the springs on the front and had lowering blocks on the back. It looked great, but it wouldn't stop in 2 city blocks. You'd pump the brakes, it'd go to the floor. You have to drag your toes. So my dad helped me make it safe, but I built that car on a complete budget. I mean, everything at the auto parts, everything I could rebuild myself, I did because I was working while going to school. And so to make it safe and drive it. So anyway, progressed. I ended up going to school. I graduated from school. Okay. And I still had the same 307 in it, same short block that came in that car when I got it, which I don't know how many miles were on it. And I gradually worked on it till I got that car to run a 1310 in the quarter mile with the original 307 in it. Now I changed the top end and the cams. I tried like 3 different camshafts, 2 different sets of heads. And I mean, I just experimented on everything I bought was used. Everything I had was used. Nothing new, except the camshaft to put a new cam in. But you get the idea. Used converter, you get it. And and built everything. My dad and I built everything. Built the rear end, the transmission, the engine, did everything but paint on it. Anyway, got it down to 13.0s. Very happy over that. And then I don't know, almost 10 years ago, we built a 383 that's in it, and it's got the same mental design. We built it very simple, very reliable, and it runs on mid-range, runs on pump gas, has nothing special. Mitchell, you know about it. It's very, very simple, but we enjoy it, and it's something we've been able to afford and to enjoy. So, yeah, homegrown, that's a brief story about it. The paint was my graduation gift. My dad painted it for me. He got it painted. That was my graduation gift, and he stitched up the interior. I had seats I bought out of an 87 Chevy Nova, the little front wheel drive economy cars. I bought those front seats for $40 off Craigslist. Okay. And they were in somebody's apartment over in Arlington. Bought them, and I built the brackets to put them in the car so I could take the bench seat out of it because I'm a little taller than the bench seat was friendly. And, the shifter that's in it, used, bought it used, the tacks used, the gauges are used. They're out of my dad's car. The seat belts are out of his car. I mean, you get the idea. The steering wheel was a Christmas gift from a relative.
So you're basically saying, it's kind of like that Johnny Cash song.
Piece at a
But
time.
But yeah, it's kind of like
Yep.
that.
Yep. I could tell you some stories a piece at a time on that thing. But that's just the way it is. That's what makes it interesting. It makes me appreciate it more. Okay. And that's something that Mitchell and I, we appreciate whenever we talk to people, when we meet people. We don't care if you got an 18-second car that goes down the track all the way up to Don Meziere top sportsman car and above. We appreciate and respect everybody's hard work on what it takes just to get there. You know what I mean? We got buddies that run front wheel drive Hondas, and we appreciate them being there. It's hard work. And but I got the mentality to just take what I got and try to make it better with what I got. Not adding nitrous, not doing all this, but just make it more, I'm not knocking you.
Why not?
Well,
I haven't been running the nitrous.
It's got hypertechnics in this one. Okay. And I don't want to change the ring, pull it apart and change the ring. Anyway, I got enough going on trying just to go down the track. I don't need a button with a timer figuring up the pressure in it, the heat that's in it. And I can go on and on. But don't forget, this is old school compared to yours. Yours, you got a computer that can just take care of it. Boop, boop, boop. Make sure things are in all this. Mine, no. Mine starts shooting ducks and all that stuff if things are out of whack, and little audible noise to tell you abort. So, but I know we got off topic, and I'm sorry about that, Homegrown. But back on tonight's podcast, I want to tell everybody thank you very much for everybody coming on, or for everybody supporting us. Like Mitchell mentioned, we've eclipsed 20,000 on Facebook, thanks to you, and continuing to grow. We're almost at 700 on a YouTube channel. And I'm going to ask everybody, ran ahead of 283, 20 fuel heads, pistons, lifters, quarter well in the frame brace. I would agree with you, except I don't think a 202 head can fit on a 283, 3.875, 3.874. I don't know if a 202 head will fit on a 283, but I totally know what you're getting at. And you're right. I would. Oh, yeah. You're right about that. The other one. But I want to tell everybody, if you would do us a favor, if you hear this podcast, if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, On the Spot Motorsports Media, we ask you to go over to YouTube and to subscribe to it. We're trying to build and grow that platform up and share that with others, but also continue to grow on Instagram, continue to grow on Spotify. This will be. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So 327 with a 4-inch bore. It fits. So absolutely. So we ask you to continue to follow us and continue to share with us, because many of y'all have given us suggestions on people we should reach out to and talk to. And Mitchell and I have, and we've brought several of them on here already. And we have many others lined up. And so we appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's support. And Mitchell, wish you, buddy, you and your family a safe trip.
Oh, yeah.
Have fun. And I got commitments, so I can't get away. But the next time I plan on being there.
Yeah, really looking forward to this weekend. I've never been to ZMAX, so this is my first time.
You're going to like it. You're going to like it.
I was talking to people at work, and they're like, oh, going to a drag race? I says, it's not just a regular drag race, okay? There's 4 top fuel cars, four funny cars, 40,000 horsepower leaving at the same time when the tree drops. So it's pretty amazing. So if you've ever been to Gainesville Raceway and you've been pretty close to the start line, the tree, when the cars take off, multiply that sound by 2. And that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah, and that place, like Vegas, is a concrete jungle because my dad and I have been there. And you're going to like what's really cool is the tunnels that go under the track. Yeah. That's going to be cool for y'all to experience.
Go from one side to the other. It's really neat, and looking forward to it.
Still
and like I said, stay glued to the page. You'll see some pictures start coming up on Friday. I want to try to schedule all the interviews on Saturday with several people. We're going to interview, and I'll go in and edit and drop them from the tower. Saturday afternoon, and it's going to be a great time. Really looking forward to it. Maybe I could talk the wife into driving to 6.5 hours and let me sleep in the other seat. Nah, that'll never happen.
I don't know. She might be like, I really want to get home. You know, scoot over. I got this. You know, maybe let Zane and go on a real adventure. You know?
Oh yeah. Zane, my youngest son. I've got 3 kids, and my youngest son Zane, he's 12, and he's been going out to the Gator Nationals ever since he was probably right before he turned 1. He's been, you know what? Actually, I think he was 1. He's been going to drag races at Gainesville ever since he was 1 years old, and so this will be a new experience for him. He's never seen 4 cars go down track at one time, and I just can't wait to see how his face lights up. And of course, he's got to run by and see his favorite pro stock driver, Erica Enders. He really loves Erica to death, and drop by there and see her. But yeah, all in all, I think it's going to be a fun trip, and we may even try to drive out west a little ways and go take in the mountains for a couple of hours before heading on back to Florida. But yeah, just try to make a big trip out of it. Going to be really busy, and I guarantee you my feet will be dragging come Monday when I go to work.
Oh yeah. You're going to be hurting, but it's part of it. We enjoy doing this, what we do, and having fun. I still got to fix my stuff to try to make it back racing next weekend. My stuff's apart in the garage, but that's neither here nor there. That's my deal to try to fix.
Robert, I've got a 400-liter fuel pump sitting on the floor over there that I need to get in mine, but it won't happen.
I don't need 400 liters yet, but
it won't be in there until the next following week. Because, like you said,
it's just looking at it, it's not getting it in there. So, just saying,
it's not too bad of a job. It's not too bad. The Chryslers, the Dodge Chargers, and the Challengers. It's not really a hard job to change those out. You take out your back seat, pop off the 2 plastic covers. You take the tool, take off your rings, pull them out, drop in the new stuff, put the rings back on, put the plastic covers, and put your back seat back in. So it'll go pretty quick. And of course,
easy peasy.
Yep. And at the same time, as soon as I finish that, I'll be pouring in some new red line synthetic oil in that hot rod. So looking forward to that. Great product. We don't, talk enough, I don't believe, about our sponsors, like Redline and Scorpion Racing Products, what they do for us. But I'm a real believer in both of those companies. And with Redline, I mean, my car's 200, I think it hit 211 or 212,000 miles today on my way to the house. And yeah, it's the same car I drag race. But eventually I got some things cooking. Some things are coming down the pipeline. Things will be changing on the car. And also, I'll be making that big girl lose some weight as well.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to help you on that, on where I can. But like I said, also anybody out there that would like to get involved with us, just reach out to Mitchell and I. We can talk to you about testing products, and absolutely homegrown. We do. We thank Redline and Scorpion for helping out so much. But like I said, just we appreciate everybody chiming in tonight, and we have another good one lined up next week. This one falls under Competition Eliminator. Mr. Treadwell Farms. Glenn Treadwell is going to come on and talk to us about his Competition Eliminator career. And anybody that knows anything about Competition Eliminator just knows how much of a threat they are each and every time. There's only a couple people they can say that they've won Indy 3 times.
Oh yeah,
and he's one of them. So yeah, got a long pedigree, and they're right here in Florida. So that's going to be kind of cool. So we look forward to that next week.
Well, again, thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned to the page. We'll see you next Thursday. And also that week, that Saturday and Sunday, we'll be back out at Gainesville Raceway. I want to say that's race 9 and 10.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Something
I believe
like
it is 9 and 10 on the season. So we love streaming those races for y'all to enjoy. But until then, everyone, please take care, and we'll see you in a week.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.